everybody. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
Today we're taking a look at the games that come in this Pack of Games Set 3. 8 of them. These are numbered to 24, right? No.
Yeah,
24. There was already 16 of these. I've reviewed a couple over the years. I think you've reviewed all of them.
I believe so. I think I've reviewed them all, yeah.
So we're going to take some quick looks at each of these 8 games. They're all small little games that are a pack of, looks like a pack of gum. Back when people chewed gum. Remember that, kids? I don't know. Anyhow, we're going to review them in no particular order, but I'm saving, I think there's 2 in this set I think are clearly better than the rest. I'm saving those for the end.
Okay.
But here we go. All right, Far is a little game about lands. Show them, Z.
Here we go. In this one, players are going to be scoring areas of land types that are facing them. Each player is sitting on one side of this a structure here. They begin with a king and a queen in their color, which on the front also feature that king and queen and some of those land types. And on a turn, they are going to place either their king or queen card or one of these 2 face up somewhere that touches at least one land type already there and matches that land type. So for example, let's say I am the star player over here with red. I could place this right here like so. I could do this even. I could place it however I want to, as long as something shares, at least one of them share a land type. Now, at the end of the game, when we are all done placing out all of these cards and our 2 royalty, you are going to score something that is 5 or smaller, and it has to have an opening to your side. So, for example, right now, I can score this group of water. It's 1 because it's across 1 card. This green would be 2. It's across 2 cards, and so on. If something covers this water, however, and I no longer have that water exposed on my side of the playing area, I cannot score it. I have no access to it. Also, if it goes above 5, it will be worthless to me as well. The area that has the king and the queen of your color will be an additional area you score above and beyond every one of each type that you can see, the best one of each type you can see. But also, if it goes above the 5, it will not score.
This is kind of a Carcassonne-esque game.
Yeah, but super mean.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Far is incredibly mean.
You could literally just put a card out and be like, no, you're scoring no points.
I found it to be a little overwrought for what it gives you. The play of it is interesting enough, drafting kind of like a Carcassonne tile and putting it out there. And the idea of you having to face the thing you're scoring, that's a clever idea, but that means you can be hosed. You can hurt somebody by hiding a thing from them. You can hurt them by making it go over 5. If it goes to 6 or more, it doesn't score at all. It's just too jerky, man.
And then you have to explain the king and queen roll 85 times.
Yeah.
There's too much. It's too messy for me. I like the concept of it, but the game itself is not great, so I'm giving this one a 5.
This one gets a 5 from me, too. That is Far.
Urk. By the way, if you notice, all these games have 3-letter names. Urk here is a little game in which you are... Well, you show them.
Okay, here we go. It's abstract. Check it out. The game, which I'm showing you here with 3 players, is going to be played over 7 rounds with a stake round, then 2 center rounds, stake, 2 center, and then the final 7th stake round. On those stake rounds, you are going to simply pick a card from your hand that you are going to score, and you put that in a score pile. At the end of the game, whoever has the most of each of the different colors is going to score for the largest cluster of that color. So everyone would, first of all, on that very first round, remove a card from their hand and set it aside for scoring. Then we go to the normal or more frequent center rounds. One player has the box that denotes they are the start player, and we all simultaneously will pick a card to play. So each player will pick one, and then we will reveal them, and I would, having the box, play first. This has to go next to something. I can also cover something. If I am covering a number, it has to be with another number. I can only cover at most one mismatched color. Also, if a symbol has a starburst in the middle, which is this right here, it can only be covered by another starburst. So I could not cover up with this red right here, the green. And so every player, like I said, basically will play. I could do something like that. This is certainly a large contiguous group of red, but so is this in blue. Blue, blue, through this one to this one. That's the biggest group of blue there.
This one feels too quick for what it is, right? You play a few cards, the game's over, we add up scores and go. This one is mean, for sure.
It is mean.
But it's also obvious mean. Like, I'm going for red. I almost wonder if you do better if you just played your first card randomly.
Yeah.
And not looked at it, and then played, and then no one would know what color you're going for. Because otherwise, I'm making a big group of red. And you're like, well, then I will break that group up.
Right, or I'll try to score more red than you over in my score pile. Yeah, it feels a little too slight. It's a great proof of concept. This one feels like that, and I get it. You have a tiny little pack with 30 cards in it, very small. Some of these, and this is one of them, don't feel like a full game quite yet. This is like a little taste of something. This one, there's some interesting stuff here. It could be bigger. It could be developed into a fuller thing. As it is right now, the scope is tiny. It's like, I'm scoring red. How much red do you have? 3, I have 2. How about blue? I have 2, you have 3. It's like it keeps being about that.
And even more so if you play with 4.
Yeah. There's a second place if you do play with 3 and 4 players, but it's still, the scope is this big in this game. It's just too tiny, too small. For me, Urka is getting a 5.
Yeah, same here. 5 for me. I wanted to like this one more.
There you go. That is Urk.
Yet is a game based on a clock and dirigibles. You ever notice that dirigibles and clocks are like entwined in games and literature?
I think it's the clockwork nature of it, the steampunky nature of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here's how it plays.
Here we're taking a look at the game for 3 players, already 1 turn into progress. All of these cards begin face down, and the clock hand here pointing up like the other one at the 12th. The round is going to consist of the players drafting action cards, and then playing up to two of those action cards to move around their airships, reveal cards, advance the time, and try to capture these cards. At the end of the game, these cards that they've captured are going to be worth a number of victory points equal to the face values. The first player is whoever the hand is pointing at, and if no one, then we'll go around the clock, with this player being first. So this is what my hand looks like. I am going to play up to 2 cards. I'll play this one. The different symbols here would denote movement, the gear. This means move 3, move 4, move 1. This one here denotes switching my facing for my airship, or I can also flip a card. That would be a time capsule card, one of these cards. Flip it to its opposite side. This one here lets me look at one of these cards or look at an opponent's hand, and then this clock here lets me advance the clock, like so. If the card that the clock is now pointing to, that hand, is unoccupied, let's pretend it is, for our example, then it gets revealed face up like so. If I end one of my movements on a time that matches at least the current time or is lower, then I will capture that card. So right now I could capture the 3 or the 2 or the 1, which have not been revealed yet.
I hate this game. In case I wasn't clear, I told you.
Yes.
We played this one again yesterday, and I was like, I still hate this game.
Yes.
It just feels like there's a lot of rules. Take these cards, draft them. Here's what the symbols do. Move around here for complete randomness. Hey, I got the card that lets me move 2. There's the 12. It's 12 o'clock. Done. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I get
so
that.
much randomness, so many rules. The moving the clock hand around is janky. It looks bad, I think. I like nothing about this. I'm giving it a 3. I'm done.
I like it more than that. I'm actually giving it a 6. Twice as good as what Tom thinks it is. I do have some issues with it. I think the visual clarity of having a clock out there is neat at the beginning, and then it very quickly falls apart as the cards vanish. I don't think that looks good. I don't want to have to imagine the negative space. I get it, But again, if it wasn't this limitation, that thing would just be printed there, right? I like the idea of the drafting and the using actions to manipulate whatever you're doing. But the game there are a couple too many rules for what's in here. And some of the special abilities on the cards, I'm sorry, they're just dumb. The look at something. And one of the 2 options is you can look at a card face down out there, or your opponent's hand, which you just saw because you drafted with them. Also, who cares?
Right.
You can't stop them. It's not look at and then trade one with them. It's literally
which I would hate too,
look at. Like, who cares that I can look at it? it sounds like I'm giving it a 2. You know, I'm not. Like I said, I'm giving it a 6 because I do find the interest of the puzzly nature of, like, turn the ship around, go this way, snag a thing. And the tension builds because the higher numbers become available. I like that feeling. Yes, if you have the 10 and the 12, I should stop. You know what I mean? But I still enjoyed it a little bit better, so it's getting a 6 from me. That is yet.
Sly is a little game of fox and chicken, trying to catch them. This is actually not the first, second, third, or even 20th game on this theme.
Absolutely, yeah. But, simultaneous selection every time, too.
But also with the, it really is. Yeah. Here's how it plays.
The game is going to be played until a player has, at the beginning of their turn, a single card in hand, or all the spaces at the hen house are occupied and those cards are face up. On your turn, you are going to do one of 3 things. You can either lay, you can expose, or you can reveal. If you lay a card, very simply, you take one of these and you put it somewhere face down like so. If you expose, you will call on another player's character card and hope that it is the fox. If you indeed do call out the fox and say, I'm going to expose that this is your fox, and you are correct, you'll take it. It'll be worth a number of victory points equal to the number of players. So in this case, 3 victory points to me. If it is not a chicken, not a fox, and say this player says, I'm going to expose this one, I think it's your fox, and it is revealed and it is not the fox, it is locked, and that card is now safe. The last option is to reveal, and you have to reveal a number of cards equal to the number of players. So in a game with 3 players, we are going to reveal 3 cards. You pick whichever cards you want, one at a time. So perhaps I would say, I'm going to reveal on my turn, I'm going to reveal this one, I'm going to reveal this one, and then I'm going to reveal, let's say, obviously I knew what my own card would be, so let's say it's this card instead, and I say, and I'm going to reveal this one, and I would flip that. If there is a single fox, it will eat the biggest hen. Everything else goes back. If there are only hens like this, the biggest one, the largest one, is locked in place. The other ones go back. If there are multiple foxes, they will fight and neither one gets anything.
Sly for me is okay. Mm-hmm. The problem with Sly is it feels random. I shouldn't say it because there's not a lot of, like, sometimes there's a gotcha moment. Like, gotcha, you turned over the wrong thing.
I don't know if I would call it random. I think some players play the foxes early and it's just in their nature and you can kind of start to tell, okay, oh, you're trying to psych me out by playing a chicken first and now the fox comes second. Gotcha. I like that feel. This game to me reminds me of Skull and Roses, which is just called Skull now, I guess. It's that feeling of you're seeding things, and at some point you can try to, like, catch your opponent's fox or go, well, I could reveal 3, and I bet my chicken's going to be the biggest chicken. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no. You know, you can, if you flip a fox, then go somewhere else. But I like that. I like and the simplicity is good. They didn't make it overwrought. 2 foxes, they go off. Multiple chickens, same value. You're the one revealing, so yours is preferred. I like this one. This one's getting a 7 from me. I think it does some nice bluffing in a small package. It reminds me of those, what are you trying to do kind of games, but in this form factor, and I give it props for that.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 6. I like it, but okay. And I cannot take out my mind there's other games that do it, I think, better and smoother. That's all.
Yeah, there are a lot. That's fair.
So that's Sly. Nut. This is a game about squirrels catching nuts. And you said this one is actually a reprint.
Yeah, so Nut had already been put out as a promotional extra pack in maybe wave 1 or 2. I don't know. So it existed already. The artwork is new here. The artwork from the original one was different, but it's the same game.
Well, let's take a look.
Starting with the forager, i.e. the first player for this round, they are going to select one of these 3 options. This is for 2 players. If we were playing with 3 players, then each of these would have another card placed underneath here, randomly from the deck. And so they will take one of these combinations and they will place that in front of them. You can place these cards however you want to, as long as they're touching something. You can put bark up against bark like so, and you could put sky up against sky like this. You'll eventually be forming likely multiple trees. You can also cover various things if you want to. Like that, you could cover as many of the pieces on a card or cards you've previously placed as you want to. When you take a squirrel, it has to be right side up, by the way, so this would be that player's area, and perhaps they'll play like this. Having a squirrel in the area that scores for you is good because you'll score it for double its worth. With that done, this moves to the other player. They replenish our options out here. They are going to do this like so, and then they'll pick a new combination. Maybe they'll take these two, and they are going to put these out like this. They'll do that, yellow on yellow, that's good. And then the squirrel has to be right side up like I said, so maybe they'll do that. So that is what you are doing, creating clusters. At the end of the game, you are going to score the largest cluster of each of the colors, and if there is a squirrel in there, then you score that one double. Whoever has the highest score is the winner of the game.
That's an odd one in that it plays 2 to 3, but I don't know that I would ever play with 3. Because I think there's so few cards, you kind of want to build your trees up.
Sure.
You want to know some things going in that there only is, I think, one squirrel of each color.
Yes.
I think it's unique in that the cards go different directions, and you're putting trees next to each other. Visually, that's cool.
Yeah, the tree on tree or sky on sky, that's cool. I'll tell you what I love about this game is that it's actually simple. The simplicity here matches the size of this game. You're still building groups, and you score the largest group of each color. If it has a squirrel in there, ×2. Great, clean. I love it. But the whole thing is this simple, straightforward drafting thing that isn't overwrought. That's what it was. You can hide, you can play cards on top of cards and hide an empty space or one of the acorns you don't want, but the whole thing is easy to actually teach.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they tried to cram too much in here. Some of the other ones do that sometimes. Yeah, for me, this is a fun one. This one's getting a 7. I like it. It's a keeper for me.
I think it's also pretty good. 7 for me, although I would argue I would not give it, I think that's for 3.
Yeah.
Just because there's too few cards. But the back and forth of the two-player is really nice. It's essentially drafting.
Yeah.
But it's a fun kind of drafting.
Yeah, I agree. There you go.
Mad is one of the most aptly named games ever because this is a trick-taking game, which is kind of weird with these little cards, but it is a sort of insane one. I will show you.
After 2 rounds of trick-taking, the players are going to compare the totals they have in their colors in every suit, and they're going to find the difference and find the absolute value of that. So 4 minus 3 here would be a difference of 1. They get 1 point in green. The difference between these two would be 4, so they get 4 points in purple and so on for every suit. They add those totals together, and whoever has the lowest total is the winner. The player will lead a card. Then the other players around the table will follow suit, if at all possible. If the number of symbols here at the top of the cards equals 6 while we are playing cards, then the whole trick will flip from science to madness or madness to science. This player here has none of that color, so they can play whatever they want to. And then finally, we've got this player who is going to play this card here. We did not get to 6. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it stays in science instead of flipping over to madness, which would have all these flip over and have all the players take their entire hands and flip them over as well. You do not mess with the score piles you've already put aside. So the trick looks like this. Whoever has the highest score in the lead suit, being this player, is going to win. They discard their own card, and they'll take one of these and add it to their score pile. They're going to go with this one over here. After the first round played with 7 cards, you play a second round with 5 cards, and then you figure out your score. A game with 3 players is very similar. You'll simply have these flipped over, and the hands are slightly different. The player card counts, and it only takes 4 of the symbols to flip between science and madness.
I think this will be, of all the games in this set, this is going to be the most polarizing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Joey hated it when he played it.
Okay. Well, for one thing, if you don't like trick-taking right there, that'll
Sure,
take you
but
out.
I mean, the idea of the trick-taking can change in an instant,
Right.
and you can force it to go, suddenly we're now negative. And also, you got to kind of keep that in mind that a -1 is higher than a -4. That's kind of a weird swing around.
Yeah, the winning card in the trick is the highest card, which means positive is the highest number, but negative, the negative, obviously, the 1 is higher than the -6. I think that's clever, for one thing, with the scoring, but I also love that the game gives you 2 pre-seeded cards, and you're trying to get to, like, zero-sum.
Yes, I like that a lot.
So brilliant. Love it. You win a trick, you discard your own card, but then you take one of the ones there and you go, ooh, -2 in purple. That helps me get closer to 0. I'll take that. And you're trying to massage this thing as you win tricks. If you are at 0 or pretty close to it, you don't even want tricks, which is great. Yeah, this one is smart.
But it feels... So I want to be clear, I really like this. I don't normally like chaotic trick-taking games that much.
Mm-hmm.
Of all chaotic trick-taking games, I think I might like this one the most. I just found myself enjoying it. It's quick, it's silly, but it's clever. I'm taking this card now out of the game.
Right.
So now we know that card's out. And trick-taking here, and now I'm going to make it go negative, not to help me per se, but to hurt you a little. And that's a legit thing to do this game, trying to hurt you to make it go down. I'm pretty impressed with this one. This one's an 8 for me. And the only thing that I think it would get an 8.5 if it just used normal cards. The trick-taking with these little cards is not my favorite way to do a trick-taking game, but I like it other than that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, this one's getting a 7.5 from me. I really like it. Yes, the form factor is a little annoying here, which could be said for most of these games, to be fair, most of them. But I agree. There is an interesting, very clean concept in here that works for trick-taking. I like that a lot. So there you go, 7.5. You gave it an 8. That's mad.
Win is probably the most anticipated game in this set because it is based on the Long Shot the Dice game, which was based on Long Shot.
Right.
Long Shot Dice game, a roll and write horse game, super popular.
Yes,
very, very popular.
Right.
This is going to try to condense that same game down into cards, sort of. Let me show you, or you'll show you.
The game's going to be played in rounds until 3 horses advance to the finish. At that point, the bets are going to cash out, and whoever has the most money tracked up here is going to be the winner of the game. We take these 4 cards, and you're going to shuffle them, randomly turning them face upside down as well, top side down, until you are ready to reveal them. You'll reveal all 4 like so. The last one of these will tell you which horses move right now. Whichever one the arrow is pointing to, in this case 3, is going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And then the others featured there will move 1s each. The 4 will move 1s, and the number 1 will move 1s. And now, starting from the start player, you are going to take an action. You can advance a horse. That is counting how many times the horse you want shows up here and advancing that horse that many times. Say I pick 6, it's once, twice, I will move the 6 horse twice, and then I have to take one of these 2 cards that featured my action and flip it face down, and it would be the next player's turn. So that is advancing. I can bet on a horse. Same thing, it has to be featured here. I will turn that face down, and I will take one of my bets and place it next to that horse. Say I bet on number 4, I would put it there, and I would decrease my money by the amount. I can also take a previous bet and increase it by 3, going all the way up to 12. I also have to pay extra if somebody else is there. You're reminded of that there. And I have to pay extra if I bet particularly late, in spot 8 and 9. If the horse is there, I also pay extra. I can do the deed action on a horse. That entails their ability that's written on them, and then flip this face down. And the last 2 options are I can eat, which takes a look at these stalls up here, and I can do one of my abilities for each stall that is visible. In this case, I could pay for 2 of these. That lets you push up horses, pull back some of them, what have you. Or I can gather money. The total shown amount would be 4. I go up 4, and then I flip face down one of these 2 cards. Once we have all done something, if the game is not over, then we pick up all 4 of these and we mix them up again, and they are once again revealed. Some horses will move, then we each take actions at the beginning. At the end, like I said, when 3 horses have passed, we are going to pay out. If the horse, say this one here is in first place, it's 7-1. If this one is in third place, it would be 4-1, and so on. Figuring out who's got the most money is going to let you know who the winner is.
This one, it's like, how did they fit that much game into this box?
That's impressive, and it's honestly that's kind of the most impressive part of the game, in my opinion, is that they crammed all of that stuff in there. And having to get creative with, well, how do you track money? And how do you track where the horses are on the race? And how do you track the actions that the players can do? And which horses move? There's no dice to roll. Wow. Like, I mean, kudos on just inventing the thing. You know what I mean? In my opinion, there is a point at which you try to make something too small. This is, if not there, certainly peeking into the hole.
It is cool. So I wouldn't mind a board, because when you're moving a horse, I'm like, wait, which row are they in? Or whatever it is. And it also seemed to have that one rule of the icon lets you then use an action on this card.
Yes.
I kept finding tripping people up.
Yeah, that's fair.
There was some, and there were some weird money things. But the game is pretty clever. You're taking a horse out of contention, like that someone else can't use then to move up.
The ability, yes,
You can't force a horse over a line. It has to be random for it to pop over that line.
Yes.
And the 5 and 6 come over less. It's quick. It's simple. It's not as good as Long Shot, the dice game. It's not as good as even Long Shot, probably. But for in the package, I don't know. This is the kind of game I'd be like, hey, guys, I got a game here. And I have a game.
It's a whole game. I
like it. It's a 7.5 for me.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 7. I enjoy it, too. Yeah, it gives me that feeling of, if I'm the one running it, you want one person running it, because the thing is kind of fiddly.
Yes,
handle.
right.
You know, it's like to handle it all. I don't love the 4-card/sticks that you have to shuffle and turn upside down and shuffle.
You're definitely
Those
doing that a lot.
4 cards are going to get some serious wear. Because you're just manipulating those same 4 ones over and over and over and over. So I get it, you know, but it's a concession of this kind of packaging. But man, again, kudos on cramming so much game into this tiny little pack. Yeah, it's impressive. For me, it gets a 7.
Bog is a 2-player game about frogs jumping across tadpoles. Here you go.
In this game, the objective is to have the most victory points, and you are going to, on your turn, do one of 4 possible actions. You have a hand of cards, and you are going to, on your turn, either play a card from your hand to the shore in front of you, an area in front of you, max 2 cards on your shore. You can advance a frog. You can go from the shore to the first lily pad depicted here. In this case, it would go to this one, or to the next depicted one. This one will go from here, to there, as shown at the top of the card. You can advance it 1 step, or you can do a scoring action, which is one of 2 things. Complete a frog's route. Once this one has made it here, remove it from the board and score 2 victory points for it. Or you can score a formation. Score a card from your hand. If there are frogs in 1, 2, or 3 of these locations on the table, you will score 1, 2, or 3 victory points with this card, respectively. If you move a frog and land on an opponent's frog, you're going to score their frog for 1 victory point. If you move a frog and land on one of these flies, you will move that fly to a different location without a frog, and you are going to take a new card, either face up or face down. The game is going to be over when all the cards are gone. In that case, you score everything you have gathered. Whoever has the highest score is the winner. Or if one of the 2 players is unable to take one of those 4 actions, then they lose and their opponent wins.
If you ask me, like, putting the covers down and all the games that came in the set, which one I thought I would like the most, I would not have picked Bog.
Right.
But for me, this game is really good. It is a 2-player abstract strategy game.
Yes.
That feels so different from any other abstract strategy game I've ever played. You can see how your opponents are going to move.
Right.
And you have to sit there and think, do I capture their frog at this point? or do I not capture the frog and get another one to play? Because this game, hand management is so important.
Goodness,
if you lose all your cards, you lose the game.
Yeah, it's this weird hand management. I mean, crucial. I'm always drowning kind of hand management versus abstract placement and movement. A theme on an abstract game that makes sense.
Yeah, with the flies and placement of those flies. This is so much that they put into this box, right, with these cards. And the frogs are different.
Yeah.
They have different grids, and then you can score the grids, which when you first play, first time I played, I was like, I'm going to get some points that way. Then I lost.
You run out of cards if you do that too much, which is why the flies are so crucial. If you land on a fly, you will move that fly and draw a new card. That is like gold in this game. Yeah, it's so clever. It feels like nothing else. I think that's what it is at the end of the day. A lot of these other games is like, a trick-taking game with a twist. A tile-laying a la Carcassonne game. A bluffing game with one of those, the fox eats the hens things. We've seen a lot of that. This one feels unlike anything else. Pre-programmed movement, but the timing matters, but the hand management, I'm giving it an 8. I think it's really smart.
I'm giving it 8.5. I really like this one. Not only is it like one of the best games in this series, this is one of the best abstract games for me. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really something.
I'm pretty impressed. So that's Bog. And that is all the games here. Now, we played a lot of these games together, but we also played a lot separately.
Yeah.
And I would say that you could see that even though we differed on some of them, that there's a clear delineation which ones were better than the others, I think.
I think so, too. I suppose some people, again, if you want, like, I like the game to be mean as possible, then you might like far more than we did. But there's generally a few here that are really, really clever designs.
But this is 8 games here. That's very impressive.
Yes, it is.
That is a lot of games to carry around. I can carry and have carried this in my pocket. I like it a lot. So there you go. Check them out. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And we're Mad Win. I'm going to stop. This is going to turn into a terrible Mad
You're
Lib.
being irksome.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.